So the first game was Scary Teacher 3D, which pretty much everyone knows at this point, but whatever, just let me review it anyway. So this game is pretty much Hello Neighbor, but if we cut the budget into I don't know, 75% of it, I don't know. So after selling my potatoes to the devil for $1,000, I can now play Scary Teacher 3D. Misty is the most cruel and evil teacher of school. Unluckily, she's our math teacher. Every student is scared of her anger and punishments. You have to teach her revenge by sending pranks in house. So the gameplay of this game is pretty much simple. Pretty much like Hello Neighbor, but also kind of nonsense. You already know, but I'm just gonna explain it anyway. So this is me just showing you, because, yeah. Once you spawn in, the game begins. We pretty much just walk into our house and just open it. But the issue is that you have to do that little tiny dot to touch it, which is almost impossible. Not entirely, but kind of, because, well, it's so small. And yeah, the first level of the game is just finding a bear trap in the house, in the wardrobe, and putting it in a newspaper. And yeah, there's more, but you already know. Do stuff quickly and get out of the house before a cutscene plays. I cannot get the goofiest but screaming it all full time because I don't know why not. What is this? This is so cute. I know it's weird laughing at that, but like, it's funny, right? There's also a camera for the teacher, which kills all the horror from this quote-unquote horror game. I think, but it makes things much less annoying, so it's fine, I guess. So after watching a cutscene which takes ages, we have to buy a hammer to go to the kitchen. But I didn't know where the hell was the kitchen, so So I ended up just wandering around in this place until I got bored, so yeah. Overall, this game wasn't really that good at all. It was pretty bad and pretty unoriginal. And it doesn't help that it took the game 1.2 gigabytes to download. But hey, the Scary Teacher is kind of scary, so that's kind of cool. So the next game is Mr. Hop's Playhouse 2. So out of all of the games we're gonna look at, this was probably the best out of a bunch, which it's not, the game is not perfect, there's issues, but the game is still pretty good. You're spawning as Rebecca, I think, where you have to avoid getting damaged when you first start up the game, where it's kind of basic, but that's pretty much what you need to learn the controls in the game, so yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what else. Just watch this funny gameplay, I guess. So you wake up from the funny little nightmare and you wake everyone up. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what the hell to say about it, so I'll just wait a bit till I get to the gameplay of this. So the first level, hide and seek, begins where you basically, as Esther, I call it Rebecca, but except for the name. Pretty much before you do that, you pretty much have to go out of the room. So yeah. After you leave the room where literally 90% of the kids are, well, for this level at least, Well, technically 98%, but whatever. You have to go downstairs to the yeah, you already get the point. You go downstairs. Isaac calls Esther. I call her, but I simply forgot her name for some reason. Then you go downstairs and you play hide and seek with them, and you go down by the funny room next to you. But the count by that I mean literally just count for 1 second, and that's basically what you do. But first you have to put the funny bunny in there because yeah. Sorry for the delayed thing, by the way, but yeah, I'll just show you some footage. You were pretty much hiding in the library, and yeah, it took me like a while to find him. Although I'm pretty much like the biggest idiot on the planet, since I didn't even realize they were literally right there. It took me like a bit while. I actually find it. I'm like the last game, the kitchen, but man, it took me a while, and man, I literally didn't know there was a door, and I thought the library was just in another room or something. I don't know. After you find the library, which is easy unless you're like me, where you don't know where in the fucking world it is, you pretty much have to find both of them. For some, yeah, Molly is down there, but for some reason she doesn't even spawn until like if you find Isaac, which I'm not sure why, but whatever. It doesn't really matter most of the time. After you find Molly, who just spawned here for no reason, you just watch a cutscene that is pretty much unskippable. And then the lady just kind of tells him to be quiet at the library. It's technically the library, but I'm saying the library because you know British. After you beat the first level, the second level is the hunt, where you first have to watch the cutscene where Mr. Harper just is one of his eyes just fucking do that, and she's shocked by opening her eye for like a second after he disappears. I don't know. I just it decides to leave, but has to be quiet. Otherwise, she's gonna spook the kids. Okay, not spook them, but you get the idea. I didn't make too. I didn't play this too much and make like at least the first bit of progress. By that I mean literally dying 24/7. I'll just show you these clips because I don't know why not. So overall, this game is pretty good, and I do recommend playing it if you haven't already. Yes, there's just more stuff to the game, but I want to talk about so much because, you know, the length, sorry. But yeah, let's just move on, I guess, because I don't know what the hell to do at this point. The next game is Piggy Chapter 8 Carnival. So this game is pretty much Piggy, but only the 8th chapter and a lot worse. I mean, yeah, you can kind of choose first or third person. You can just add a difficulty on it and just customize the blog, which is kind of cool, but like not really, as there's not much reason for it. And the entire gameplay is basically Piggy Chapter 8, but both a few modifications. Yeah, the area is a lot darker than what it is, which is kind of cool, but it's still the exact same map. Plus, there's lives in the game, which yeah, it can continue more. But if you lose all your 5 lives, so it's basically a game over. The controls are okay, but the camera shaking sensitivity is kind of awful. Not sure because of me, but it's really just dog shit. Has just the lags and just I don't know. And that's it. No, that's literally the entire game. Oh yeah, and also spawns in the beginning of the map, which I'm not sure why, but yeah, that's it. I'm not sure why the hell would you play it since Roblox is free, and Piggy's free here, so there's no reason. So let's move on. The next game is Five Nights of Imposters. So you know Stickman Survival 2, which I reviewed in my FNAF mobile games video, and which is the exact same person who made that game. Well, this game is exactly that, but with Among Us. So people ask me, but if that's the case, then why did you play it? Because I can, and because I didn't have any ideas. I mean, the game was fine, but like all of his games, well, except the first one, but I'm not gonna review it. They have the exact same format: trackers, maps, cameras, doors that last 10 seconds, and then a tracker map, etc. And yes, since it's Among Us, I think they just whole monster thing when you appear at the door, which is kind of cool. But they never actually appeared as, like I said in the FNAF mobile games thing on the last game part. If I did, that is. Just spam the literal shit out the doors and the cameras, and it will never get you. So yeah, they last over 10 seconds, but again, if you spam them, that's completely fine. And plus, you can spam more like 2 doors if it's on a camera with only 2 open doors. But yeah, that's kind of it. The game is overall alright, I guess, but there's not really any reason to play them, really. So yeah, let's just move on, I guess. The last game in this video is Night Watchman. I only picked this game because it inspired the FNAF 4 minigame plush, the plush drum one, and because they didn't know what else game, so yeah. Out of all of them, this is probably the worst of the bunch, which you will pretty much see basically instantly, pretty much. So yeah, as I mentioned before, this is pretty much the plush drum minigame from FNAF 4, but a lot worse since for some reason unlike in FNAF 4 where the plush drum minigame you only have 90 seconds, there's no time limit, so it's kind of cool. It makes things a lot less challenging. As really, they only really move if you don't look, and the one when you don't look in them. Plus, they pretty much spawn instantly, and you have to game them to get too close. So there's one point in the game I shoot the black guy, but then Blue just quickly came in and just game at me because why not? Speaking of that random gun that you saw earlier, there is power-ups of the game. Except for some reason, instead of just completing levels to get them, you have to watch ads. Well, only once though. And sometimes you have to watch ads for the gun, despite the fact you already have it. No, that only happened like 2 times though, for me at least. It's really annoying though, and the controls kind of suck. But probably the worst thing about this game that makes this game absolutely terrible are the ads. Like most mobile games, you will pretty much get ads if you complete a level or collect something that requires ads. Or in this game, exactly the same, but sometimes you pretty much get ads if you really do anything for some reason. Yes, you can turn off Wi-Fi, but you will pretty much instantly get this pop-up, which prohibits you from playing it without Wi-Fi. So pretty much playing it without internet is basically impossible since there's no way to avoid ads, so yeah, you're pretty much forced to deal with it. Even though there's no multi-kill ability or something like that whatsoever. It also doesn't help that you get an ad every single time you finish a level, no matter how long it lasts, since most levels just last like less than 30 or 40 seconds anyway, so yeah. So in short, this game would have been a bit better if, it actually let me play without Wi-Fi, but it doesn't, so this game is probably a terrible mess. But overall, this game is dog shit. Please, for the love of God, don't play it. It's awful.